The more you're identified with your mind, the quicker you are in your judgments of the other human being. You know them exactly. On what it might even be true occasionally. You may have seen something that's actually there, but what you have seen and thought that this person is some conditioning in the other person, not who that person is. Or you have completely imposed your own conditioned perception on that person. But you can recognize any thought you have about a human being as just a thought and a perspective, and one of many possible thoughts, and not the ultimate truth. So you recognize the relativity of your thinking. The relativity of your thinking. There's one spiritual teaching that works entirely with that. It's a particular, Byron Katie has this teaching that whatever thought comes into your head about another person, about yourself, or about your situation, you look at the thought and you ask yourself, can I really know that this is so? Can I really know that this is true? And if you really look at the thought and you say, I can't really know that this is true, this thought that I have about this person or this situation. So it's a continuous letting go of identification with thought. And then gradually the compulsive thoughts arise less and less. And as the compulsive thoughts arise less and less, more space is there. That's why we are here, for the arising of space, stillness. And in many of you, it's already happening as you sit there. But there are some, I can see or sense, a few, not many, fields of restless energy here and there. Or others go. You may want to try feeling your hands as you sit here, because you are restless, because your entire attention is still lodged in the head, in the mind. And the mind must feel either restless or anxious or totally bored sitting here. So if you cannot get out of that, the body really is if you can simply begin by feeling the inner energy field in your hands, and that there is an aliveness there. You can feel that there is a hand, not externally, but internally. If you closed your eyes and somebody asked you, is your left hand still there? For a moment, you would have to internally, so to speak, look for it. And then you would feel something. You say, yeah. And then the question is, how do you know that it's still there? Because it's not touching anything, you're not moving it. And then, of course, you will know, because I can feel it. I can feel its energy. That's how I know that the left hand is still there. Not a memory that it was there when I last looked. And then your answer comes from the memory. Yeah, it's still there. I saw it a minute ago. And again, these things to the mind seem insignificant, but they are of tremendous significance. To begin to inhabit the body, which takes you out of inhabiting the mind exclusively. If you can feel your left hand or your right hand, you can also feel other parts of the body. You have to just start somewhere that becomes the entry point into the body. I'm speaking particularly to all of you, but to those who are either bored out of their minds. Well, if you were bored out of your mind, you would be okay. But those who are still bored in their minds, or are feeling restless and are thereby missing the essence of this gathering. Get into your body. Get in there. Feel the legs, the feet, the hands, the arms. So what if you can feel one hand, you can feel the other hand simultaneously. You feel them both at the same time. The feeling of hand. Feet. You can feel both feet also as you feel your hands. Subtle at first. Some people feel almost like a tingling sensation. Some people feel a warmth. And then can you feel the trunk of your body, the belly. Sometimes to feel the belly is very helpful to be in there. Taking one deep breath or two or three deep breaths and following the breath with your attention and feel the belly, or the abdomen is the more polite word. Feel the abdomen rising as you breathe into the belly. And for a moment, there's a cessation, the belly is full, and then breathe out. So breathing a few times into the deep, take the belly breath, which means you have to follow. It's not just a practice, an external practice. The essence here is that you follow the breath with your attention, and then you move into the belly. So the attention leaves the head and moves into the body. So you breathe into the belly, and there you could say you're in. This is the center of the body. Around here, solar plexus also, but belly is a beautiful center. And once you've breathed in a few times into the belly, you can actually feel the energy field of the belly here, and you rest there. And from there radiates out energy into the rest of the body. Hara, the center, as the Japanese call it. So here, and you may notice then when you look at not only the images of the Chinese fat Buddha with a huge belly, who laughs all the time because he has no problems left. Toothless old man with a huge belly, whatever you say to him, come with your problems, he will laugh at you. But you may also notice that the Indian Buddhas and other Southeast Asian Buddhas, most of them have a very slight protrusion in the belly region. So there's a little bit of slight, because they rest here. Their center of gravity is not in the head, as it is with modern humans, Western especially, but the whole world has become Western. So the center of gravity is not in the head. The center of gravity is in the center of your physically perceived body, but it goes beyond body. So you rest there. And so to sense that field of aliveness is beautiful. It takes you out of the head. Your attention moves down here. You unite with the all-pervasive intelligence that is beyond the mind, that inhabits your body, that is only an expression of the one intelligence, is the intelligence that lives in your body as the life energy that regulates thousands of complicated functions, complicated from the point of view of the human mind, that regulates, coordinates thousands of functions in the body simultaneously. Everything is just right. If one thing slightly maladjusted, the body would die immediately. You would collapse. Temperature, heart rate, lungs, circulation, innumerable things that you could spend the next 5,000 years analyzing how the human body works, and you still wouldn't get to the end of it. And that's only the outer body. So there's an intelligence at work that is vast. So if you can feel your body, that is an entry point into that vastness. And the deeper you go, if you do it for yourself, you can do it with your eyes closed at first, so that you become familiar with inhabiting the body, and realize as you go deeper that it's not really about the body. It's about sensing that vast spaciousness that is here. Vast spaciousness. So you enter the spaciousness through the body. And then everything comes to life. Once your body comes to life, and then you look around and open your eyes without losing the inner sense of body, then you feel everything is more alive suddenly. It participates in that because you are not deadening it anymore with mental abstractions, concepts, labels. It has always been alive. Couldn't see it anymore, couldn't feel it anymore, sense it anymore. So I recommend that each one of you spend some time going into nature and being, perhaps choose something like a tree or a flower or a patch of ground or a landscape, maybe the lake, the little lake we have here, whatever, or a rock with moss growing on the rock. There's some trails here, beautiful moss growing over ancient rocks. And just be there, be with it, and as you look, feel the energy field of the inner body at the same time. That makes it much easier to look without mental interference, to have a space of stillness as you look. So you're present within and without, and you look from there. The inner body becomes a root, that which roots you in the present moment, anchors you in the present moment, and takes you out of mind. And if then mind starts working again, if you're doing anything creative in your life, become still first. Before the act of creation, there needs to be stillness. Nothing creative can come out of the accumulations of the mind. The mind can be an instrument to give something form, but the inspiration, the creative impulse, comes from a deeper level. It comes from the stillness, the presence. So go into the body and feel that. You don't need to think anymore there. And then you look, and then at some point a thought comes or a creative movement comes. It may be dance, whatever. It may be a word that you speak, words that come out of your mouth, but they come out of the stillness. So getting in touch with that is a simple and beautiful way of entering the realm of no thought. And then thought can operate beautifully and is not going to create problems as it usually does. Because most of your life problems are created by thought. Life only has challenges. The only place where a challenge can come is in the now. Apart from a challenge that comes in the now, there is no problem except in the head. The power to face challenges is always there in the now. But you cannot face problems because they have no reality. Always use as the criterion to tell you whether your problems are real, ask, what's the problem at this moment? What can I do about it now? Nothing. I'm lying in bed, it's 4 a.m. Then go into the body. Okay. It feels good to be alive. And I thought I had problems. At 9 o'clock in the morning, when you enter the office, you open the door and there sits this man who you were thinking about all night, who is creating problems for you, and his mouth opens, words come out of his mouth, and you bring an alert, aware presence to it, and you look and listen, and then words come out of your mouth. They won't be reactive anymore. There will be a response, not an old reaction. Then the words will be true. They will be just right for that moment. And they're not rehearsed. Or no words come. You may look at him and walk out. Nobody can predict. Right action. Buddhism sometimes talks of right action, right speech, right this, right that. I've forgotten the list, I can't remember things. But those things, they come out of right presence. You have to be present. You cannot, otherwise you cannot manufacture or try to bring about right words, right speech, right actions. Okay, I'm trying very hard here to say the right thing. I'm trying hard to do the right thing. It's not working. You can't try to do the right, because the right thing comes out of a particular state of consciousness. Spontaneity, intuition, realization comes out of stillness. So in this shift, thinking loses its capacity to make you unhappy. Thoughts for a while still arise, but they're not that overpowering anymore. You're not totally in them anymore. And then space arises. The ability to not think arises when there is nothing much to think about, when life would be far more joyful if we are not interpreting this moment. And if you live in alignment with this moment, a lot of the time you're better off not interpreting this moment. Let it be. It is. And out of that state, necessary action comes. Or doesn't. If it's not necessary, it doesn't. So the revolutionary shift, the evolutionary and revolutionary shift in humans, in human consciousness, is to enter that dimension where compulsive thinking comes to an end. Compulsive thinking comes to an end. To transcend thought and realize that you are more fully yourself and more intelligent when you are not thinking. And when thought then comes in, should it be needed, it will be more effective, more powerful, more creative. So you are here to be able to learn to enter that realm of, this is the realm of great power, the realm of pure awareness. And it's not just the words that are pointing to it here. As you sit, it arises because there is that realm itself is here in the energy field of this gathering. And it is very helpful, even if your mind is saying, okay, I'm not really getting this. Of course it's not really getting it. The mind cannot get the essence of it. So the most helpful thing about this gathering is the energy field of stillness or presence that works, comes from within you, but is also here in this field. That's the essence, and that's what works most powerfully, that transforms you. The words are additional helps, additional pointers. And also to keep you entertained while you sit there in the energy field. So practice. Practice again is the wrong word because it implies some kind of effort almost, but it is effortless, pure seeing, pure listening. Become aware. Whenever you look at something, at first there is a space before thinking happens. As you become aware of the space, you may find that it expands. What that means in relationship to other humans, we will look at. If you can relate to other human beings, what it does to human relationships. I suggest, just for a little while, you stay here when this body has moved away. Just stay until you feel the impulse to get up. Just stay for a little while in this energy field, in the stillness, and see that the body on this chair here is not really needed. That's enough, what's there. Thank you.
This concludes Lesson 2. Lesson 3. Using sound as a portal into stillness.
Yes, maybe you'd rather be somewhere else. If the weather weren't so wonderful, I would be happy to be here in this now, but it's so nice out there. There was a Zen master walking with one of his disciples out in the country, and they sat down under a tree, and the disciple didn't quite get it yet, what Zen is. He'd only been there for 6 years. So the master was sitting there just being, watching, listening, and the disciple was thinking. And then he said, "Master, I've been thinking, how do I enter Zen?" The question means, how do I enter the state of consciousness that is Zen? And there was a long silence before the master said anything. And then the master raised his finger and said, "Can you hear the sound of that mountain stream?" And the disciple said, he at first couldn't hear anything, and then "Yes, I can hear it." Suddenly he heard the distant mountain stream. And Master said, "Enter Zen from there." Oh. Okay. And for just a little while the disciple was there, attentive, alert, listening.